So welcome to chapter 4. In the last chapter we talked about the customer experience, and this is all about the customer. And if we have great customer reviews, great customer experiences, you know what? We're gonna have more and more customers to make happy, and that's what it's all about. So today we're going to talk about in chapter 4. We're going to talk about being physically and mentally prepared for the day of work. I like you guys. Sometimes, either I've got a child that's kept me up all night, or I'm working some stuff out with my wife, or life happens, and sometimes we don't get a good night's rest. But the mind works so well the next day. It needs that time. It needs that 7 hours of rest, or for some people it's 8 hours of rest. The mind actually gets rid of a lot of its trash and difficult things it's been thinking about when we sleep. So it may sound like it's a little corny to talk like that, all right? I get it. But hey, it's what we do each day on the work site that makes the difference. It's our identity. It's who we are. We feel good about ourselves. That's what we want. We want to feel really great about ourselves. And when we're focused and we're nourished, and we've had something to eat, things just go a lot better. I don't know about you, but I got to have my coffee in the morning. I got to have a couple cups of coffee in the morning, get things charged up, and I just feel better. And I'm able to be a better servant to not only the people that I work with, looking out for them, understanding where they're at, but it's also I'm better to serve the customer when I'm physically and mentally prepared. So it is about taking care of yourself. We do require that, hey, we're going to be working alongside of each other. Want to make sure that if you have a beard or a mustache, that you groom yourself. That you clean up. If you don't have a beard or a mustache, that you're shaven, you're ready to go. Or I guess that's the new look right now, is a lot of guys will just have stuff that they'll have a couple days of growth or whatever, but they'll manicure themselves, they'll take care of themselves. Why? It's not only for us, we feel better about ourselves when we take the time to groom ourselves, but it's also about who? It's about the customer. And so when the customer sees that, wow, this guy he's got a fit shirt on, and I know his name, and he came right up to me, he waved at me and said, how was I doing today? They have a better experience with us, and that's what we want. We really want our customers to have a wow experience. And we know that comes down to our team members. That comes down to you. Your decision to get up in the morning, rested, and start your day. So really appreciate you doing that. Really thank you for doing that. It makes a big difference. Okay. Talk about Fitch clothing, Fitch apparel, and shirts and hats and sweatshirts all make a big difference as far as the overall customer experience. We do have a laundry facility right here. We are going to have, with our production management team, we will have extra shirts or sweatshirts or hats, rain gear for you to wear in case you forget yours. Little side story, right? We were doing this really nice deck in Fairport, and the one installer, the one team member that we had, good carpenter, he showed up with a Molson shirt. It just kind of, the customer is they're so scared today, and everyone's so darn review happy, that it's like, what does Molson say about the kind of, and by the way, this guy was a good carpenter, but it just took away from the customers, like, well, who's this? This is one of our team members, this is one of our carpenters. So compare it to another story. Say that you're a Chevy guy, or you're a Ford guy, or a Toyota guy, and you go in and they're working on your truck at the Ford dealership or at the Chevy dealership, and you go in, they're working on their truck, and it's got a guy with a different logo shirt on. It just like, you want to have Toyota on that shirt. You want to know this guy's factory trained, right? I mean, that's what you want. You want to see that this guy is part of the overall product that we're installing. Another little side story. We do advertising. We do sale. We sell things. We design things. But it's really the production department. That's what the customer is buying. So, though you install that door, that window, that skylight, the kitchen, whatever you're going to do for us, people are buying what you're doing with your hands, okay, with your mind. So that logo is so important. That Fitch Construction logo, that shirt, is very, very important. So we want you to wear that every day. We're going to give you, 8, 9, 10 shirts and a couple sweatshirts and a hat or two. And we can come out with jackets too, but we really want that to be part of it. And then of course our production management will have extra pieces in case you forget. So that's really important to us. The Fitch apparel, because it's about the customer experience. It's about them doing that. Okay. I want to talk also briefly about how we see each other. As team members here at Fitch Construction, I learned from someone really great. I had a great teacher in the business, and growing up, and I think it was 14 years old when I started in the business, learning from my uncle, and I was late. As a young man, I was late here and there. And so, he would always talk like, he wouldn't make me feel exactly great. But let's just say that, we were supposed to be at work. If we were punching in at 8 o'clock, Uncle Bob expected us there at 7:45. And so we might be getting our tools out and getting prepared, right? And getting started for the day. Maybe we're on our tailgate and getting all our stuff, all hooked up and ready to go. But we got there 10 or 15 minutes early just to prepare ourselves. And boy, the day went so much more smoothly. Robert Schuller, I love what he said, is always prepare yourself, leave enough time in case you get a flat tire so that you're on time. I think a lot of what I see today is, guys will pull in at 8:05 or 10 after 8, and it's rush. We want to go through life enjoying the moments and enjoying that moment of being prepared. So if you have to be at work at 8, try getting there 10 or 15 minutes or even 5 minutes earlier. Allow plenty of time to travel and be in a traffic jam a little bit, or a little delay, or caught behind a bus. Not living life so darn rushed. Enjoying the moment. And seeing what's going on around you, so that when you get to work, you're ready to go, you're refreshed, you're mentally, you're on time, and beautiful things, great things happen when you do that. So, on that note, how we see each other is very, very important. This is about the time in part of our training we look at our peers who we work with as, they're human beings too. We don't get to bully, we don't get to be mean to fellow workers, right? We wouldn't do that. Sometimes we get frustrated with people, I get it, that happens to me a lot. Sometimes I leave. I actually just leave the work site, or I leave the building and I go for a 10-minute walk. It's okay. And I let off some steam. But to blow up at another worker, or to make them feel like there could be physical punishment or something, that's not to be tolerated here at all. So really appreciate you seeing and respecting other workers' talents, and sometimes on another scale, our industry seems to be full of people that have an ability to install something, but they don't want to take the time to teach someone else. And I think that's a we lose there when we don't teach someone how to, like, hey, this is how I install a door. First I do this, and I check the plumbness of the king stud or the jack stud, and then I do this, and then I do that, and slowing down and teaching someone is one of the best things that we can do. Hey, we were all taught, right? So it's time that we create a culture and an atmosphere of, let me show you how I do it, and then maybe you've got some ideas too. And I think that young fellas, apprentices in our company, they need that. They need to know that. When we enter into that master craftsman apprentice relationship, oftentimes there does need to be a level of respect. There needs to be a level of, okay, well, this is how we're doing it. Finish this, and then we'll go on to the next thing, maybe in that example, that scenario. So there needs to be a leader. I'm not saying as a master craftsman or a wow foreman or a lead carpenter not to be that leader. We do need leaders, but the leaders need to teach the apprentices and go from there. So, okay. So how we see each other is there's no bullying here. There's no we got to be careful in the construction industry. There's a thing called sexual harassment. We have to be careful with that. How we joke, how we do things, that stuff cannot be tolerated. So sometimes we have to throttle back what we say and how we say it, and be mindful, about who's listening and who's outside with us. Sometimes that kind of discussion, that language is definitely not needed. But we watch what we say, especially as far as sexual harassment goes. Okay. On that note, again, you can see that I keep bringing up the customer experience, and that becomes our common ground. That's how we communicate. It's not about me, the owner. It's people don't care if I make a profit or not, right? I mean, that's not really what it's about. It's about our team having a really great. Hey, we sold this job. We're producing this job. The people love us. They love what we're doing. They just having a great experience with us. It's about the customer experience. So when we're on a job site, and in our next couple of chapters, we're going to talk more in detail about this. And we keep the radio so that we can still have a discussion over the radio, right? We don't have occasionally I listen to AC/DC. I'm just going to get it right out there. Occasionally I listen to ZZ Top or some other stuff. But if I'm on a job site working with someone, we can still have a conversation. It becomes background music. It's fun to listen to stuff. We're building. We're having a great time. However, we can still have a discussion over the radio. So, I've gone on to some job sites, and I've gone right up to the radio, and I've turned it down because it takes away from the customer what the customer's experiencing. I hope that makes sense. By the way, if you're ever having a question about this, a lot of our production staff, management team, they know how I feel about stuff. Or you can always talk to me. What about this, or what about that, or what happens if I have to go to the bathroom while I'm on the site and there's no Johnny on the spot and the house is locked? It's okay to get in your car. Just send a text to your supervisor. Hey, I'm leaving the job site. I have to use the bathroom, and I'll be right back. I mean, we're human beings. We work and live with each other. So when we want you to have a great experience and know that that you love working here, and what can we do to make it where you even enjoy it more. So I definitely want you to do that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the chapter 5, the discipline of always doing, or what I call construction logic. And I was brought up in the trade, and I really like some of these key things. is always creating the mentality that we're going to do a good job. We're going to do a good quality job because we're working for the customer. We're going to install it as the manufacturer wants. Also with the idea that, look, sometimes we want to do this to get around this and we're not exactly doing it in a great fashion. We cut corners. And remember, Construction Logic says there'll always be another trade that follows after you. So what are we getting away with? We're not getting away with anything. So remember, someone will always follow after you. They'll always see your work. If there's something that you install that you're just struggling with, get help. Make a call. It's okay. The building science has gotten so complicated, where all these different R values and spray foam and SIP panels and panning and all this different techniques. Sometimes even the craftsman, even the WOW foreman needs to be trained, and we take training very seriously here. That's why we're doing this training video, is because we want you to know what I think. And I'm learning. I'm learning. I was learning this morning. I was on a phone call with this guy from Quebec City, Canada, talking about sliding glass doors, and I'm just amazed about all the things that there is to know out there. And so we need each other. You might know something I don't, and vice versa. So, but creating this sense of we're going to do a great job installing, and if we don't know how to do something, before we say it's done, we're going to call our supervisor. That's really big, right? That's a big point of just getting help. For many years I was a one-man band. There was me, myself, and I. And there were times that I got very efficient at doing things by myself. But you know what? I missed the opportunity to work with someone and get it done even faster, or do an even better job. So this is why the company is the way it is. We're going to get bigger and better. And when you're working alongside someone, they're a human being. Make sure that you have a good time. Become friends. You teach them, and they can teach you. Okay. So, getting back to Construction Logic, little thing is, if it needs cleaning, if you make a little mess, better to clean up little messes than the big mess at the end of the day. When we sell, a room addition, a kitchen, a bath, a basement, whatever the product or service is, we say that it's going to be broom clean at the end of the day. So that means we have vacuum cleaners. When you're going to stage a job, you should have a vacuum cleaner, some construction bags, some booties to put on your shoes, protective drop cloths, or they have that sticky stuff you roll out you can put over a door threshold. It's amazing how many times I go onto a job site and we've just installed this beautiful new sliding glass door because we had to get the room weathered in, and the guys are walking right over the threshold of this new sliding glass door, and sometimes they have of course they have their boots on, their construction boots on. Sometimes we pick up metal fragments and stuff in their feet, and at the end of the job the homeowner will say, look, all the scratches in my brand new door. Right? So, and by the way, a door today is not $500. Many of the doors we install are like $3 or $4 or $7 or $8,000. And to take out a door and put in a new door, oh my gosh, that's the profit on the job. So it's about protecting the things if we just have a mindset, we open our mind up to what we're doing. Yes, these things take time to do. However, they save us so much time in the end. So I was trained by my uncle. We would do a lot of concrete work. We would put in a lot of metal frames at RIT or Hillside Children's Center, Hickey Freeman, UPS. We'd set frame. We'd make our mess, and we had the wheelbarrow right next to it, and we could load the spoils right in. And so we set it up where we work smart. We made the job seem so much easier. How many of us have seen a good drywall mudding finishing guy? They make putting the mud on almost like it's effortless. They've gotten really, really good at installing their product, and they make it look easy. So that's what we have to do too. We have to work smart when we go on to a work site and get it set up so that it benefits us. We shouldn't have to walk all the way to the backyard to get we shouldn't have to walk all the way to the front yard to bring the deck boards back. We should take the time, get all the deck boards on horses so we don't have to bend over. So there's the deck boards right there, and there's our miter box, or there's our thing, that's our cutting device, and everything's in line. And we're going to go over more in detail about this stuff in our next chapter. But it's using construction logic. Someone will always follow us. What's the next step? We should always be thinking, this is a big one, okay, how is what I'm doing right now fit into 2 steps down the road? But those are important things. If I have to install trim on my doors and windows, okay, I want to do that all about the same time, right? I don't want to get my miter box out, trim that door out. Okay, then I'm going to go hang the windows. I want to think, and build in a linear fashion, they call it. So, construction logic. These are the key things that are important to us. We're going to be getting into our next chapter, talking about controlling the work site. And we'll actually be on a work site doing that. So that's important. But how we treat each other, how we dress, those are the key things that just allow us to give a customer a better experience. It allows us to enjoy our work and our craft, things that we build. Being rested, being nourished, making your lunch. Hey, you want to save $1,100 in 1 year? Make your lunch every day. You'll eat less, you won't put on as much weight, and you'll save a ton of time. You can make your lunch the night before, or that morning if you're an early riser. Put some stuff in a cooler, and you're good to go. You just saved yourself over $1,100. Or maybe on Fridays you treat yourself and someone runs and gets burgers. But it's about saving time. So these are the key things that just make it so you have a great day. That's all I have for you for this chapter 5. I really appreciate you committing to working at Fitch Construction and becoming that craftsperson, because you'll be happier and the customer will have a better experience. Thanks so much.